What's up, lowrider family? Welcome back to another episode on Lolos and More. And today we're going to continue on the hopper build. Axle is ready. I just need to start painting it, and I can start mocking it back up into place. I created my brackets at an angle iron, 1/4 inch thick. It's probably 1.5 inches or something like that. 1.5 by 1.5 inch angle. Welded them into place, and then I cut about 2.5 inches off of each side, and now this is good to go. The motor on the old frame is ready to go as well, so it's time to get this mocked up onto that one so I can complete the motor mounts. So I'm looking at mine right now. I'm not able to use the whole set that I bought from Black Magic. I am going to have to use only one part of each set that I bought. I won't be able to use the bottom part, whichever one you consider the bottom. I'm gonna have to still use my lower motor mounts, the lower ones that the truck comes with, right there, that right there, and this right here that has a little piece of tubing to help mount. So I'm gonna have to use all of this still. I'm thinking that I'm gonna go ahead and pull those out, mount them in there, and weld them as well. Not just mount, but also weld. So, and then after I pull them out, I'm gonna see if I can strengthen them in any way. If I can, I'm going to. If I don't need to, then I'm just gonna leave it the way it is and just weld them into place. I can see right now, I can probably run a weld on it to make it a little bit stronger or something. I don't know. We'll see once we get to that point. This is something that you guys probably won't run into an issue with, because Black Magic does sell solid mounts for certain vehicles, and I already knew that I was going to have to modify them or use part of it on my build. So actually I may not be able to use them, almost not use them at all, really, now that I'm thinking about it. So this is it right here. This one, either this or this one gets mounted onto the car, to the frame or the motor. I don't know. I don't own a G-body, but you know, what I'm seeing is using my stock lower mounts. I won't even be able to use this right here, the tubing. I'm going to have to chop this off or completely make my own, which is fine. That's what the mocking up process is for. So I'm gonna go ahead, lift the motor out, start mocking it into place. I don't think I need to show you that, because like I said, this is something you won't have to do, because they already make parts for you to mount and go, and that's it. So let's I'm gonna go ahead, get started on that, and let's see what we got going on next. Alright, so I pulled the motor off. I pulled off my motor mounts and let me show you guys what I'm gonna do. So here's my lower motor mounts. The way they sit is, one sits right here, and the bracket is just about here, and the other one, it overhangs, which is weird. It bolts up here, and it bolts up right here because it overhangs just like this. And then it has like an extra, that tubing that I showed you in the last clip, it bolts up right here for extra support because it overhangs. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead, mount them into place with the bolts that they come with. I'm gonna replace the bolts, obviously, but I'm also gonna go ahead and weld them to the frame. I'm not gonna fully weld them. I'll do like a 1.5 pass, and then 2 inches, and then, you know, do an 1.5 pass every 2 inches. Here I'm gonna probably have to weld everything I can get back here and right here, and we'll see how strong it'll be. I'll try and weld it in the front too from underneath, but this is what I'm up against right now. Like I said, you guys are not going to run into this issue because they make motor mounts for a lot of cars already from Blackmagic Hydraulics. So like I said, I'm going to go ahead, strengthen up these welds, throw some of my welds on top of them, and hopefully it'll make it stronger, and weld them into place. And then I'm gonna go ahead and start making my own upper motor mounts. It'll look pretty much just like this, but a lot different. There won't be much of a neck right here. If I don't end up putting any neck here, because my mounts are pretty small, what I'll do is I'll end up probably welding it pretty close to the plate, and then putting plates on each side right here, and mounting it to the motor like that. So it'll go just like that if I don't have enough neck. So I'm gonna pull off the other mounts off right now, and start making my own mounts, I guess. So luckily, both of the upper motor mounts are the exact same. So all I gotta do is make the exact same plates and get to it. These are just like a 1/2 inch shorter, but I still need to create my own anyway. So this whole little setup with that bracket here, along with this, is garbage. I'll probably end up giving it to one of my club members, but I'm gonna go ahead and start creating my own. And like I said at the beginning of the video, everything on here for my damn truck has to be custom, which sucks. That's why a lot of parts are powder coated, because they don't make nothing chrome. Alright, enough of me talking. Let me start making my templates. I got a plate here, and I can get started. Alright, so I cleaned up the lower brackets as much as I could before mounting them and welding them to the frame. So let's see. So yeah, that's pretty much all I did right now. Mounted them and welded them into place. Yep, there we go. So I'm gonna continue building the upper mounts right now. So far I only got the holes drilled out. So I'm gonna continue on that, and then we'll be back hopefully after I'm done with those, to where I can mount them onto the motor, clean up the motor, and then slap it in here so I can continue doing any mock-up process stuff. I know I'm gonna have to mock up one more thing that I didn't take account for, and which is okay, but I'm either gonna have to use this cross member that holds up the muffler, or build my own. Right now, it mounts on the outside of the stock frame, and well, obviously I added a 1/4 inch on both sides, so it's a 1/2 inch wider, so it won't fit, but it is like a U-channel. What I could do is cut out a 1/2 inch in and go straight down. I could do that, and then I can go ahead and I could either mount this into place, or I can weld it into place, and I won't have to ever worry about removing it or anything like that, because the only thing that is going to be holding is the muffler. I mean, I could make hangers on the carrier bearing brace, but I don't want this brace to get any hot, because that the carrier bearing, it'll wear down quicker if it gets hotter, and it already has a shield, so I don't think I want to add any heat to this little section for it then to transfer over to the middle. So I'm either gonna mount, you know what, I'm not gonna mount it. I'm just gonna go ahead, do like I said, cut a notch in it, 1/4 inch notch on each side, and then pull it into place. I think that's just better for me. Like I said, this part isn't for you, but that's part of my things that I need to do. So I mean, motor mounts and the muffler mount are probably one of the last things that I need to deal with. But for the muffler part, I'm either gonna have to bring it up or bend it down, because right where that's at right now, where the muffler is at, right in front of it, the upper trailing arm mount is like right here. So it might fit the way it is right now. Who knows? So we'll see. We'll see once we get there. But I'm gonna go ahead and make that bracket anyways. Custom fabricate it up. Not fabricated, but you guys know what I mean. And I guess we'll see where we put the muffler. Whether I know for sure I want to get a different muffler. I don't like it being loud anymore. I'm getting old, and the exhaust is getting annoying. Plus, it's a V6, so it makes it sound like it's a freaking tuner going down the freaking road. So that's where I'm at right now. So I'm gonna continue on those real quick. And after I removed the motor, I inspected the frame. There is no cracks for as how bad I treated this frame. I did some really bad welds back there on the outside and upper part of the frame, just where the arches are, because I know that was the weak part. And then I did weld in some plates on the inside of the frame, right where the where the fuel tank is, and one on the opposite side. They're still holding, which is weird, and I was expecting to see cracks, but I'm not seeing that, because when I would drive this down the road and you would drive into a parking lot, you know how there's like a little what do you want to call it? A little, I don't know. It's like you're going over the sidewalk, and then you're gonna go up a little bit and then onto the parking lot of the store or whatever. Well, every time I went on top of those, something would creak underneath, and I have no idea what the hell it is. But if it does it to this one, then I'll know it's one of the brackets or something's tweaking. I don't know. Hopefully I don't have that issue. This is supposed to fix that issue, the creaking issue. But anyways, we're building it to hop. Alright, well, let me continue and we'll be right back. Alright, so I went ahead and created the upper mounts for the motor. Nothing special. I use the same gauge as they sell somewhere else. But here there we go. Here it is. I'm gonna use these bushings. I mean, they don't go deep enough. I don't think it should be a real issue. Really, I don't think so. But I'm gonna go ahead and just run these little bushings. I need to go to the store and buy 3/4 inch tubing, and then cut it up into the pieces that I need for the bolt sleeve to go through, and then should be good. I don't know if I did mention this or not, but because we are going to go with hard mounts, solid mounts, not hard mounts, but solid mounts. I do recommend you replace your transmission mount with the red polyurethane bushings, because we're putting hard mounts up front. Solid mounts, we need the rear to have good, like a heavy duty mount, because it's gonna take a beating, because these stock ones are not gonna last. It'll rip up just as easy as the stock ones. So make sure you do that. But if you can't find one for your vehicle, like in my case, I just have to look for a heavy duty one and put it in. They don't make one, the red bushing for mine, so I have to use the more heavy duty expensive one that I can find, and hopefully it's good after that. So I still have to do some more stuff to this frame to get it ready, but I'm gonna go ahead and weld up my upper mounts now. Worry about going to the store later and tackle some other things on the frame. I'm probably gonna go ahead and tackle that the brace for the muffler as soon as I'm done welding those. So let me get to it and we'll be right back. Alright, I got the upper mounts all done and welded. There we go. Just waiting for them to cool off. I'm gonna wait for them to cool off, and then I'm gonna put black high temperature paint, because it's gonna be mounted to the motor, where the motor gets hot, obviously. And then that's it. I was thinking about powder coating them, but I figured it's gonna be a piece that is gonna get scratched up anyways, and it's not gonna be seen anyways. So I'm gonna let those cool down for now before I mount them. So I'm gonna go ahead and work now on my muffler brace. What I can see, as you can see, I was able to fit it over the frame, because this material is pretty flimsy. Not flimsy, but it's kind of bendable. So I'm thinking right now, because it just made my life a whole lot easier, is for me to able to put this in the exact same spot where it needs to be. I'm gonna take off my heat shield over here. Take that heat shield off, mount that up over here, and it'll give me the exact same spot where this brace needs to be at. So I don't want to create any holes. I'm gonna go ahead and weld this to the frame as is. I don't see myself ever having to take it off for any reason, and it's not in the way of anything. The only thing that's going to be in this general area is the dress shaft, trailing arms, and the exhaust. So, and that's it. So there's no reason why this needs to come off for any reason. So I'm gonna go ahead, weld it into place. And that's it really. All I gotta do for prep is grind down the frame, take away some of the paint and primer. Grind this down pretty well, get this prepped and ready, and I'm also gonna weld in here for extra support in here. So I'm gonna weld it on both sides and in the holes where the bolts would go on both sides. So I'm gonna go ahead, knock this out real quick, and I think by the time we come back in a few seconds, that motor should be on the frame for sure, but we'll see. There's nothing else really holding me back to put the motor over here besides having to go pick up the transmission mount. But anyways, I can still use that mount for now because this is still just a mock-up process, because I'm gonna have to take the motor back out, paint the frame, and then start reassembling it. And oh man, I have a good feeling. It has I can't even talk right now, but you guys know what I mean. Once you start putting something together, you get that good feeling. Just putting on these few pieces, I started feeling pretty good. Like I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. But enough of me chit-chatting, saying random bullshit. Let me get on this, and we'll be right back, and let's see how far I can get. Alright, I got the motor sitting on the new frame. My motor mounts worked out perfectly. My motor mounts are about 3/16 to a 1/4 inch taller, so that kind of helps with clearance. So if the motor, or if anything ever gives out, hopefully it shouldn't, but if anything ever gives out, there's a little bit more of a gap between the oil pan and the cross member from touching each other. So, but anyways, there's already like plenty of clearance, so motor mounts are perfect. So now what I'm gonna do is the only other thing I have to mock up is my steering linkage bracket to the frame. I ended up covering the holes, so I just need to drill out one more, tap and drill, or drill and tap one more hole, and I'm good to go. I can pull this back off, and I think the frame is close to being beginning to be painted. All I have to do is remove my fuel lines, bring them over here, drill and tap the holes for the fuel lines, and same for the brake lines, and that's pretty much it. Easy, really easy stuff to do. So I'm gonna go ahead, take care of the fuel lines, brake lines, that little hole right there, and by the time we come back, the frame should either be painted or whatever, or I'll give you an update of where I'm at. Okay, see you guys here in a little bit. Alright, I took the motor back off of the frame. I did a few extra things that the frame needed, so I can start painting it. Finally I'm at that stage. I welded my front leaf spring mounts. Though for those that don't know, usually hoppers would normally go this route by using leaf springs to help bring the wheels back up while the car is mid-air for extra few inches. Not sure how much it helps. Other people use door slamming springs, which I kind of don't like. Looks kind of ghetto. I don't know. Leaf springs look a little bit cleaner, so we'll see how it works. Not making fun of anybody using the door springs or anything like that. I just think this is a cleaner way to go. I was gonna screw on my brake line brackets, but I said screw it, I'm gonna weld them to it. I moved them back about 3/4 of an inch just in case, and that's probably where that's gonna sit for now. My brake line, where I'm gonna run my brake lines, those are done. The holes is what I'm talking about. The holes where my brake line holders are gonna be at. All of the holes for the fuel lines are in. I began running my fuel lines. I don't know if I mentioned that yet. I added a little tab to the trailing arm bracket where I'm going to put another AN3 fitting right there, and then it'll be all hard line for the brake line after that, and I'm going to tie it into the stock brake line of the truck. The axle is finished, is done. I'm going to start painting it. Like I said last time, I mounted the T-fitting for the brake lines. From here, I'm going to go with the flex hose to the tab, all hard line to the drums on both sides. So that's finally done. I can start painting it. I'm going to take the brakes apart, replace them, get rid of that little E-cable tube, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and replace all of those studs. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Another thing that I'm gonna do is, since I'm gonna pull the axles out, I'm also going to replace the bearings. I'm also gonna replace those. I'm not too worried about the inner bearings. More worried about the outer bearings. So if you guys have some extra money, spend some good money on your outer bearings. You'll be happy, because those are going to take the most stress, because the axle runs more weight on the ends versus the ones on the center. My opinion. I don't know if that's physically, I mean not physically, but actually true. But yeah, that's it. Frame is done now, 100% done. I'm just gonna start taking my stuff off and start painting it. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Another thing I ended up doing is patching up my exhaust. When I would drive that thing with the windows down, if I was at a stoplight, the cab will start to smell like exhaust, and I found the issue. So this section was already like this when I bought the truck, until I pulled it out right now. There was like a exhaust leak right there, before and after the catalytic converter, and then that clamp was not on there very well, and there was two little one pretty big size leak on that one, and a leak right there. So to show you guys, I used to use a flux welder. I put the muffler in myself. I used the flux core wire, and it sucks. This is why it sucks. You see that? Those are crappy ass welds. And then this is my little patch job. And then, since this clamp isn't really on there, well, I think it is now, I don't know, but I just went ahead, welded up the whole tube all the way around. So yeah, just to show you guys how I started with flux wire, got kind of better, and then now I'm with solid wire with gas. I think it's the gas and solid wire is the way to go if you want to get into welding. Skip, if you have the ability to skip this and you have money, some extra money, go with the better setup. You'll be a lot pleased, I should say. I gotta also redo this because it's very flimsy. As you can see, I put a big wad many years ago right there. So I gotta redo that little section. But yeah, that's it. That's my quick little update. The mock-up stage is pretty much done. I'm gonna start painting it now. So I need to shoot some more etching primer, and then start painting it. Really, I'm still not sure if I really want to do anything to the frame. You know, putting patterns on it or anything. I just don't know. I just think there's just too much going on frame to really spend time on making it look cool or anything like that. I'd rather spend time on that and make that look cool versus this right now. So, alright, well, I'm gonna get to it. Start painting the frame, clean up some parts, and then I'm gonna slap the motor back on, and then I just need to paint the cab, and I'm hoping to mount the cab here in a few days to the frame. So I'll see you guys here in a little bit. For you, it'll be a few seconds. For me, it'll be a few days to a week. Okay, be right back. Quick update. So me and my wife were sanding on the cab. Well, mainly she was, but I'm gonna go ahead and start sanding the bottom. She did the front and started the back. I finished the back, so now I got the bottom to go. I think there's like a heat shield under it that I need to remove underneath somewhere where the exhaust runs. So I need to remove those, and I can start sanding, and then hopefully tomorrow I can start primering the cab. As you can see, I got my my ghetto paint booth. I just finished putting it up. I just need to put in a fan, so all of the overspray has somewhere to go, with a filter at the end so that the filter can catch everything. I just sprayed the frame, so let me take a quick peek. It's still the same. It's still primered. Same with the axle. So I got a couple more coats to put on the frame, and then I'm ready to start spraying the color. The exhaust, I'm gonna clean it up after I fix my little holder at the end, exhaust flange holder, whatever. You guys know what I'm trying to say. I'm gonna just clean it up and put some black high temperature paint on it. And that's about it. That's what I'm gonna do to that. But yeah, just wanted to give you guys a quick update on what I'm doing right now. I still got parts to clean up, other parts to still paint and finish primering. But yeah, that's it so far. I didn't use it, but I finally broke in my new compressor that I bought months ago. So that's ready to roll, to start painting with. So I'm excited to use that thing. It'll make life a whole lot easier, especially when I have to use my plasma cutter, so I don't have to use the little air compressor that's like not even half the size of that one over there. Alright, I guess I'll be right back. Alright, well, now I got these parts to paint. The trailing arm, the axle, and my two cross braces for the transmission, and the drive shaft bearing. You know what I'm trying to say. I'm having a brain fart right now. So it's time for these to get painted. I still need to finish primering a few of the pieces, but I think this is all of the painting that I'm gonna do now, until I do the bottom of the cab and the bed. So here's a frame. What do you guys think? huh? Pretty nice, huh? Quite a bit of orange peel, but I'm not worried about it. I got some drips in here. That'll come off when I wet sand it. But what do you guys think of the color? Oh man, I have about 4 coats of clear on the frame right now. The last 2 coats are really thick coats, so the reason I did that for was because I just didn't want it to be so easy to scratch up the frame, and because I decided to go ahead and do something to the frame, you know, paint wise. So hopefully it comes out looking good once I'm done. So that's why I went ahead and threw on thick coats. The last 2 coats of clear, sprayed them pretty thick. So this is where I'm at right now. I really need to finish painting those parts because I need to put the rear together somewhat, because I need to get some measurements so I can send the dry shaft out to get modified. They don't sell slip yokes for my dry shaft. So I talked to the dry shaft shop. They said they have to literally custom make something in the shop. That's what they're for. That's what they specialize in. So I have faith that they can hook me up. They already told me that it's not gonna be cheap, which is fine. That's why I need to hurry up, get those parts painted, and mount it into place so I can get my measurements. Because remember, when you get your dry shaft modified, you have to get 2 different measurements. One is when the car is laid out, and 2 when it's full lockup. So that's what I have to do. It won't take them long to do it, but I just want to get that done as soon as possible. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm just going to paint those parts, and then I think I'm going to end this video here. By the time we come back, I should have the cab, underneath the cab and the firewall painted, and underneath the bed painted, of course, in between the bed and the cab. Those parts should be painted. And I should have most of my parts that I want powder coated on the motor done. I should have most of that done, and then I should have the motor done by changing some gaskets and stuff like that, because it is leaking. So right now would be the only time to get that done, like I've said before. But yeah, I'm not gonna show me dressing up the motor. I'm not gonna show myself painting the bed and the cab. I'm not a painter, as you guys can tell, you know, from my clear drips. But I mean, this is my first big paint job on, well, I guess technically it's my second paint job on my own. I painted that truck gray before, and it did not turn out pretty. I did the mistake of buying single stage. I did buy clear to put on top of the single stage, but it still did not come out pretty. No matter how much I wet sanded, it did not come out pretty. So that's why it's the color it is now, like a dark blue. I'm really loving this blue. It looks a lot better in person than it does in the camera, and the camera looks a lot brighter, which I love. So hopefully, I mean, I wonder how it'll look if I take it outside, because right now this is just indoor lighting. You know, you don't get the real look in, you know, lighting. All right, let me paint those parts. I guess we'll be right back. All right, guys, so right now I'm at this point. I kind of began putting some stuff together on the frame just to see how it would fit. I still need to make my front suspension. I've decided to go with G-body front spindles and brakes on my truck. I was thinking about going with Caprice, but G-body, it'll help out whatever, because I do already have G-body parts at home, so I don't have to go to the junkyard and stuff like that. I was gonna use mine, but like I said before, mine are like a 3-piece spindle, and they'll most likely break because I would have to weld all the pieces together and then reinforce it, and I don't think it'll even do that well. So I'm gonna go ahead and just use G-bodies, spindles and brakes, and then I can get my front line brake lines custom made. I'm about to bolt on my fuel lines. I'm about to bolt on my brake lines as well. I started putting my brake lines in the rear. If you guys remember, I said I was going to create like a little brake line that runs on the trailing arm instead of having that big rubber hose just hanging, you know, just hanging every time. On some cars, you guys will notice when they're locked up all the way, there's just a big rubber line, and I don't think that looks good. So that's why I did it this way. I made that line, and I created my lines right there, those brake lines. The hard line itself, you can buy a roll or a whole stick from AutoZone or O'Reilly's. I bought a whole roll, and then pretty much everything else having to do with my the brakes, the fittings, the flexible hoses, that's all from Amazon. Even the spring that goes over the brake line just for protection. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, so this is where I'm at. I need to start putting stuff back on the frame so I can make room on the floor, so I can put that on wheels, so I can shove it in the tank so I can paint it. So that's where I'm at now. So I just need to do a little bit of maintenance to the motor, slap it in, and I can get going, really. I need to take the bed home. I'm going to power wash it, prep it at home, bring it back so I can paint it in here as well. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. So that's what I got going on. I know this video was probably not the best. I've been trying to remember to set up the tripod so you guys can see what I'm doing instead of just me explaining what I did or what I'm gonna do. I know videos like that are boring because they're boring to me as well, so I just gotta, you know, make sure that I record for you guys. So yeah, so this is where I'm at right now. My dry shaft is at the shop at the moment getting modified, so I think what they told me, it just has to be extended because my dry shaft already has a slip on it right next to the carrier bearing. So yeah, so they don't have to do much to it. Hopefully that's done within the week, and then I can continue doing other stuff to it, so I can get this frame rolling, so I can roll it out of the way when I need to, because that cab needs to fit in here. So yeah, my ghetto paint booth. So that's it for today. Really, that's it for today's video. Sorry it wasn't the best. I'm working on little things here and there. Here's the part of the brake line that I'm still putting the spring tube over it to protect it. So when you guys see the ride next, I should have at least the bottom of the cab and the bottom of the bed, or the whole bed painted by the time we come back. So a lot of it should be assembled by the time you see the next video. I feel like everything that I'm about to start doing is just putting everything back on, maintenance, fixing, painting. Like I've said, I'm not a professional painter. It's not bad, but I'm not a professional painter, and I don't want to teach you guys something that's completely wrong. So I'm not going to show myself painting. So, but I will make sure to add videos and clips of me fabricating stuff, because like I said, I still need to create my front suspension, which won't take me long. So, alright, I'm gonna call it for this video. If you guys didn't like the video, I don't blame you. It probably most likely did suck. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.